Schaaneman, cultivation and extraction reporter with MJBizDaily. And with me here is Kris Krane, the president of Arizona-based multi-state operator Forefront Ventures. And we're going to talk a little bit about MJBizCon over the years. So Kris, it's my understanding that you were at the very first one. Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like?
Yeah, I was at the very first one in Denver in 2012. It was wild. There hadn't really been anything like this before. There were a couple of sort of precursor conferences before this, but those were really early and not very well attended. And this was the first time that it really felt like it was a real business community conference around cannabis, right? There were a few hundred people there. All or almost everybody there was in and involved in the industry, right? I mean, I had been to dozens of NORML and SSDP and DPA conferences. I'd organized many of them myself in the decade prior, but those were very policy focused. They were advocacy focused, right? There's a lot of activists coming from around the country. And this was really the first time that the conference was dominated by people who were focused on the cannabis industry. And I mean, the real standout of this conference, though, was the fact that it was held, I think it was 2 or 3 days after the election in 2012, when Colorado and Washington became the first states in the United States to legalize cannabis. So to have this conference, this cannabis business focused conference with all these cannabis oriented folks getting together right after we had just legalized, the vibe could not have been more sort of optimistic, celebratory than we had there. It was quite amazing.
So going from that kind of small event then to see kind of what MJBizCon has become, what's kind of your take on watching that evolve? And I'm sure it's been fun to kind of follow that over the years.
Sure. Yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, I feel like it's the same refrain every year I go to another one of these conferences. Right. It's, oh my God, like this has gotten huge. And then the next year it's even bigger. And then once this moved to Vegas, it was kind of like, oh wow, like we've really arrived as an industry. I mean, I remember being at the first conference at the Rio and thinking like, well, this thing's massive. And then 2 years later, it was like 3 or 4 times the size. And we were literally, I mean, the Rio was like bursting at the seams. Like you could practically walk around the hotel and just see like cannabis people like pouring out every like open door because there wasn't enough room for us in the hotel.
Right.
All the way to, the most recent conferences where being in the convention center and seeing, tens of thousands of people, from aspiring entrance into the market to grizzled old veterans like myself and sort of everyone in between. It gives legitimacy to us as an industry that we certainly didn't have back in 2012 when this all started. And I'm kind of waiting for the year where I get there and I'm like, all right, this feels a lot like last year. That just has not happened once in 10 years.
So what are you looking forward to this year?
I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of looking forward to being there again and getting back out there again. The year off was weird for everybody, right? Myself included. And so it'll be nice to have this gathering again. I mean, at this point, I kind of refer to the MJBizCon as like marijuana Super Bowl, right? Everybody who's anybody in the industry, right, or connected to cannabis in some way now converges on Vegas, having that camaraderie. And I think everybody I look forward to seeing how excited everybody is to be back there and to see everybody again. And, those hugs and the rejoicing at people you haven't seen in 2 years and the meetings that come from it and the business that comes out of it. I think is going to be interesting from a straight business standpoint too. This is a really interesting year where, the cannabis capital markets are in a pretty good place. There's a lot of M&A activity happening all around the industry. And I think you'll see a lot of deals and a lot of deal flow announced in the months after the event because you're getting everybody together in the same room together and sort of facilitating those kind of conversations. So I think in that sense, it's going to be a very interesting one and productive.
All right. Well, thanks, Kris. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Absolutely. I'll see you in Vegas.